please introduce yourself?
I'm Sergeant Justin Wahlster.
Can you please spell your name?
First name Justin, last name Wahlster.
And what's your billet and unit?
My unit is Truck Company Alpha. My billet is Company Training Chief.
What's your hometown?
Almsville, Oregon.
And what is the newspaper from that hometown?
Two, the Statesman Journal and the Oregonian.
All right, and what high school did you graduate from?
Cascade High School, Turner, Oregon.
And what year?
2003.
All right. Can you describe what it's like to get stricken by an IED?
I mean, it's hectic, it's chaotic, it's frightening, it's definitely scary. I mean, right when it happens, your adrenaline's pumping so much, you don't really know after the initial explosion if you're all right until the dust settles and you can make sure, you know, checking all your body parts. But, I mean, it's interesting for sure.
How important is having realistic training to surviving that kind of attack?
It's essential. If you don't have any training on it, if you don't have any IED lane training, maybe some of these sim training that we just did, then you're not going to know what it's like until it happens. You know, you're not going to know what to prepare for. You're not going to know what to look for, what to expect. So, I mean, the training is the most important. It's the biggest threat out there right now, especially for Motor T.
How difficult is it to spot an IED?
First few times, it's pretty hard, you know. All you're looking for is the changes in the baseline, and you have to first establish a baseline to find the changes in it. So, I mean, it's crucial that everyone in the route is paying attention, driver, gunner. They learn that route, they know it, and then they can see what's different about it the next time they go down it. So it's absolutely most important.
You put a lot of effort into concealing your IEDs or your dud IEDs when you're doing this training. You know, why is that? Why do you put so much effort into that?
I mean, you got to have that combat hunter mindset. If you're thinking how you would plant an IED to devastate an enemy troop, then you have to prepare like that. You have to bury it. I mean, I used a lot of stuff when we were out there, stuff that I've seen before, stuff that we found, had classes on, you know. That's why all this training is so important, because it's starting to think like the enemy, and that'll help you get that change in the baseline as well, having that combat hunter mindset. You're looking for those differences in the ground, you know, and you can try and bury them as good as you can, but there's always something there letting you know there was a human factor in planting that IED.
You know, people make mistakes during IED training. We've seen some yesterday, but even so, why is it all right to make the mistakes now in training? Why is it important to learn those lessons now?
Because right now it's not life or death. With these sims, there's no threat of getting hurt from them. It's non-toxic powder, makes a loud bang, might ring your eardrums a little bit if you're too close to it, but I wouldn't have hit them if they were, you know what I mean? So right now is the time to make mistakes, and you learn from your mistakes. Lessons learned. You know, out there, you can learn from the small ones, but if it's already a big one and someone's dying or injured, then, I mean, you can only try and bounce back from that and learn from that too. But right now, it's fine to make the mistakes, because you're trying to fine-tune that TTP or SOP you're building to help you deploy.
You know, when an IED strike occurs, you know, how important are those initial few seconds and minutes? You know, how does IA drills or immediate action help out with those seconds?
I mean, the first, I'd say 30 seconds is crucial, because, I mean, depending on what SOP you establish, the first 30 seconds will let you know if they have comm, let you know if everyone's all right, and it's dependent on those actions that they do within that truck that got struck to know for the rest of the convoy commander, A/, if they're all right. So for us, when we were out there, you know, that initial 15 seconds to 30 seconds was time to get on the radio and say everyone was okay. If you didn't have comm past that, then you'd throw something out, either green smoke, everyone's okay, red smoke, there's a casualty, or if you have no smoke, then anything you threw out, we were assuming that everyone inside the truck was okay. If nothing came out, you obviously assumed the worst, and you made your way up there as soon as possible.
Immediate action drills, they help?
Absolutely. You rehearse, rock drills, walkthroughs. You have to get them down. Nothing's ever going to go as planned out there, but as long as you have that established SOP and that step to work off of and step further on, then you're going to be great. It's going to start getting more fluid and fluid every time, and it's just going to come down to unconscious action that you're making, just muscle memory.
Yeah, that second group that you worked with yesterday, they definitely learned a lot, I believe. Can you talk about that?
I think so too, and you know what me and some of the other individuals, some of the other Marines were talking about is when you come out here for EMV, they're not going to hit you with what you expect them to hit you with, and neither is the enemy forward. So when I hit them with everything, you know, that primary and then that secondary, that's realistic. They made a huge mistake and walked outside as the aid and litter team, walked outside of their swept lane. That's what the enemy's looking for. If they have something that's a pressure plate the first one, a command at the second time, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to make that mistake. So that's why you rehearse here. That's why we go through this training to just fine-tune those and try not to make as many mistakes.
Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I just say maybe for anyone getting ready to deploy, anyone in the chute, just make sure you and all your Marines go through these trainings, go through this training. You know, machine gun chute, combat hunter, try to send them to all the instructor courses you can to help them train the Marines when they get back to the platoon. IED lanes, metal detectors, ECMs, I mean everything, it's a must because the enemy is one of the most intelligent we've fought in the situations we're in a while. You know, it's not a standing army, but this guerrilla tactics that they use on us, it's hurtful, you know. It's maybe not as many casualties all at one time as a standing army, but it's horrible, you know. You can't even see the enemy that's hitting you with these IEDs. So you have no revenge you can make, you know. It's just horrible. So make sure they get to the training.